All right, so now you know what retail arbitrage is. Basically getting a product that is in the store, shipping it to Amazon, flipping it, making some money. And you want to repeat the process as many times as you can. Now let's get into private labeling. So I started private labeling in 2016, and I'm currently doing private labeling as well. Private labeling for me started only because of all the cons, like I mentioned to you. It was a back-breaking work. My house looked like a freaking warehouse every day. I couldn't stand it anymore. I loved it, but I couldn't stand it. It was kind of like a love-hate relationship. However, in the back of my mind, I always wanted something that was keeping it simple, keeping it stupid, making a ton of money without a lot of effort. So, what can that be? Well, obviously, it's not going to be easy because nothing that is worth it is easy. So for me, that was basically doing private labeling. So I started researching a lot of products, and I started going on Alibaba and meeting a lot of Chinese distributors online. And I found a lot that I wanted to work with, but I was a little apprehensive because I didn't know these people. They were in a different country, and I didn't talk to them for quite some time. But eventually we started talking on Skype, and I started trusting these people. And I figured out how to filter between the good ones and the bad ones. And I finally made my decision. I mean, at this point, I didn't want to do any more retail arbitrage and going into the store. So I had to do something different. And I noticed that there were a ton of other people doing what I'm doing. So why not give this a try? And so I ordered my product, sent it to Amazon. Once it came in, I started branding the product, and I hired people on Fiverr to design the box for me, design the packaging, the manual. I even went as far as copywriting the product. And I did everything I could to protect the brand and create the brand and make sure that it's something that looks trustworthy in the customer's eye. And so I was very, very successful starting out from scratch. And ever since then, I've been creating multiple different types of products, and I've been shipping it to Amazon FBA. And so far, it's been worked out very, very well. I started a pay-per-click campaign. I started getting more reviews, and as a result of more reviews, in my first year, I was doing $200,000, and that quickly climbed to $400,000 a year, and then it's climbed higher and higher and higher and higher, and eventually it became to a point where I didn't have to put any more effort into it. The business was on autopilot, and I was making a ton of money, and all I had to do was just maintain the product. But in the beginning, there was a lot of work involved, and in future videos, I'm definitely going to get into it. So now let's talk about some of the pros of private labeling. So in the beginning, some of the pros are, in the beginning, there's going to be a lot of work. Once 90% of the workload is done within the first couple of months of releasing the product, you're going to have a lot more time in your hands because Amazon is going to do the customer service for you. Amazon is going to ship the product. They're going to take care of the returns. They're going to do all that stuff. So at the end of the day, your job is just to make sure that you maintain your stock levels and you do your customer service. Customer service is extremely key on Amazon. If someone has an issue with your product, they won't hesitate for a second to leave you a negative review. So you got to make sure that you're on top of the game when it comes to that. But otherwise, it's a lot less work than retail arbitrage. So the other pro is that you can make money instantly because once it's in Amazon's hands and they're shipping it and they're doing all the customer service for you, there is no lag between when the customer orders it and when they get it. And the products are there, people are searching for it, the search volume is there. So that's another one of the pros. The other pro is that this is your product, it is your brand, and Amazon provides a lot of different types of protections for you, so this way that your product won't be copied. Now, this one could be debatable a little bit simply because there are people that are going to tell you that people are going to copy your product and they're going to resell it. But there are things that you can do on Amazon. We don't have time for it in this video, but in future videos, I'll definitely get to it. And last but not least, Alibaba is probably the single best resource for anyone who wants to purchase from China. There are tons of manufacturers. Every single one of them nowadays is familiar with Amazon FBA. If you live under a rock these days, you know what Amazon FBA is, and you know the power of Amazon FBA. So the Chinese manufacturers, you don't have to tell them twice about Amazon FBA. they're going to know what it is. They're going to know everything that there is about Amazon FBA. Chances are they might already be selling there, or they have other customers that are selling on Amazon FBA. So there are people out there to support you. There are people out there on Alibaba that know what they're doing, and they can definitely help you get your product out there, and they know the requirements for Amazon FBA sellers. All right, so now we're going to discuss the cons of private labeling. Some of the cons of private labeling is that the manufacturer that you buy from can make you or break you. If you don't have clear guidelines and clear communication with the manufacturer, they can take really long to produce your product. You're going to be out of stock for a long time. Once you're out of stock for a long time, your ranking on Amazon can go down. Or if they produce your product and they're not consistent, because they're producing your products great today, but tomorrow they can change their staff, and then the quality of your products go down, and sometimes they're defective, so you don't know that, and you're shipping your products directly to Amazon, you're going to get bad reviews. There's no way that you can test out thousands of products, and you're not going to ship it to yourself. You're going to ship it to another company that's going to ship it directly to Amazon. So there's no way for you to find out if all your products are in good condition or not, unless you're going to pay a lot of money and have everything inspected. So the manufacturer can make or break you. This is something very, very important to decide on who to choose to work with in the beginning. The other thing is, if you choose the wrong product, or if there's not a lot of profit there, you can get stuck with it. And if you get stuck with it, it's going to be difficult for you to sell the product. And these days, the other con is that it's very, very difficult to get your first set of reviews on Amazon. Before, there used to be a ton of websites that as soon as you launch a product, you go to this website that helps you get reviews, and within probably days, you can have 30, 40 reviews. Those days are gone. Now you launch a product and you're not going to get any reviews unless they're organic reviews. The other con is that the barrier to entry is probably more expensive to get into than retail arbitrage. As I mentioned, retail arbitrage is something that you can just walk into a store, have $50 in your pocket, and you can start scanning items and buy $50 worth of product, so you can sell it for $150, just an example. With private labeling, there is a MOQ, or minimum order quantity. So if you want to purchase directly from China, you have to order a minimum quantity. So let's just say that each one of these items are going to cost you $6. So if you purchase 1,000 of these, which is mostly the minimum quantity for a lot of manufacturers, that's going to cost you $6,000 right away. And then we're not talking just 6,000, we're talking an additional maybe 1,000 to 3,000 just to get the products to the United States. Once they come in, you're going to have to prep these products, send them to Amazon. By the time you're done and over with, you're talking anywhere between $9,000 and $10,000 just for one single product. Now $6 is just an example. Your product can be a lot higher, your product can be a lot lower. So this is another con. The barrier to entry is a lot higher than retail arbitrage. And so the last thing I want to talk about, and that's having very, very good customer service. These are your products. This is your brand on Amazon. So if you're selling these products on Amazon and your customer service is not good, and you're not responding to negative reviews or negative seller reviews, they're going to stay on Amazon, and they're just going to lower your rankings, and they're just going to devalue your product and your brand. So if this is something that you want to do long term and your product is not doing well in terms of customer service, customers won't hesitate to give you a negative review. And once they do that, once you get to a certain threshold, I believe it's 4.4 or 4.5 stars, your product starts to get significantly less sales than people who have higher than 4.5 stars. And that's basically it. So now you know retail arbitrage, and now you know private labeling. Which one is right for you? On one hand, you have retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. You don't need a lot of money. Barrier to entry is very low. Go to the store, scan it, do it on your own time. However, it's a lot of work if you're going to do that every single day like I did. And your profits may shrink because other people are doing the exact same thing that you're doing. So if you remember the pros and cons I discussed, this is something that you're probably gonna experience. So I think no matter which way you slice it, they're both a lot of work, but I know for sure that this is the right thing for me. Now, what I want to know is, what is right for you? retail arbitrage or private labeling. So please comment down below. Let me know if you have any questions, and please smash that like button, and also please don't forget to subscribe. And thank you so much for joining me once again for another episode of Life by Design. I will create more videos similar to this in the future. Please let me know if you have any questions, and let me know if you have any suggestions for future videos. Like and subscribe, and I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me once again, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.